What's going on, everybody? This be your boy DJ Anonymous with Sportsbizmusic, the podcast, episode 62. And I got a very special guest on the show today. I have Melissa Keklak, right?
Keklak, yeah, you said it right.
On the show with me today. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. You know, it was very cold the last few days in Miami, which is kind of rare, but it's kind of warming up again for, I guess, the weekend.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we had a whole bunch of rain here in LA yesterday, which is not a very likely source of weather for Los Angeles. So, of course, it was like, for us, it's like getting a snow blizzard because no one can drive. Everyone is like in a panic attack, you know, taking all the food at the stores. Like, we're not going to be able to get outside our doors tomorrow.
Yeah, I was actually in LA last spring, and it's very beautiful. Like I remember someone had asked me, because, you know, coming from Miami, they was like, is Miami like tropical? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's kind of like here in LA, but I guess it's more, you see more like trees and more like grassy, you know, areas.
Yeah.
And like, you know, LA is more like, to me, it's more like the desert a little bit, you know, but it's very nice, like very nice
You
out
have a
there.
little of everything. In LA, it's like if you want to go to the ocean, you can. If you want to go hiking in the mountains, you can. You want to go see Spider-Man dressed up on Hollywood Boulevard, you can.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's amazing. So you're a PR. Before we get into like your career, like where you at right now, and we talk about the future, you know, tell me and the audience about your beginnings. Like, what made you want to be get into public relations?
So I actually went to college. I thought I was going to be a lawyer, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my professors, when I was like in the pre-law program, was like, yeah, I don't think being a lawyer is in the cards for you. You should look into public relations, though, because you have a good mouthpiece, but just not for legal. I'm like, okay. So I took classes, and I ended up like just really liking public relations. So I changed my major, and then that's what I went to college for. I graduated with a bachelor's of arts focused in PR, and then I had an international communication certification for Italy. And then from there, I just started working at different PR agencies and on different types of accounts, primarily like lifestyle accounts. And shortly after that, I got hired by Casio for their brand G-Shock, which is a watch brand. And at that time, they were revitalizing the brand, and they were trying to build on their influence in urban hip-hop and pop and R&B music. Mm-hmm. So I came on board and help them build those programs and do the PR and artist relations. So the first artist we worked with was Kanye West, and we brought him on for 2 years and built our platform around him. And then we worked with Kesha and Eminem and Lady Gaga and Jeremiah, Wale, Currency, B.O.B. I mean, it ran the gamut. It became a huge program that was just really impactful in music. It was the first time a brand was actually using their marketing and their advertising platforms to be a platform of awareness for these artists and for their music, because at the time we didn't have Instagram or Snapchat or any of that stuff yet.
I think it was only like Facebook at the time, but Facebook wasn't even that big.
It was like, basically it was like Facebook. That's all we had. So I worked there, and, you know, I got really into the music program, and then I just started getting people hitting me on the sides, like different artists and managers that were just hiring me to do their releases. Like when they were releasing music, they were hiring me to, you know, like put out the music and get the placements. And so I noticed that like a lot of PR agencies were afraid of independent artists because for them, they felt like they weren't legit if they weren't with a label. But independent artists were on the rise at that time. So that's what provoked me to then move to Los Angeles, because it was either do it in New York or LA, and I had enough of East Coast weather for the 27 years I lived there, so I decided to move to LA and start the company. And I've had the company the last 9 years, and about 4 years ago, then I started getting into music management, and I started working with a West Coast artist. His name is Problem. And I've been working with him the last 3 years. And then that grew into starting to project manage for an artist out in New York called Basswag. He just did his first label deal. And then that's now transitioned into day-to-day management for Blac Youngsta, who's an artist from Memphis.
Yeah, we love Blac Youngsta down south. We love him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's definitely known down south. So, and that transitioned into me then becoming president of Heavy Camp, which is Blac Youngsta's label. So I still own the public relations company, and I have publicists that work for that part of my businesses, and we still work on different campaigns with artists. But now I also am president of Heavy Camp, and then I also am a music manager. So I wear various hats throughout the day.
So you do a lot. So I have
I'm like a genie in a bottle for the music industry.
I have a lot of questions, not a lot, but a few questions that I want to ask.
Okay.
Like going back to Casio America when you was working at before, in that era, it wasn't that much really social media outlets.
Yeah.
And I remember G-Shock, a lot of people was wearing G-Shock, and it was like a big brand. How was it like working with a brand like G-Shock at that time when they was about to, elevate? Like, how was that?
It was amazing because they were really, they came in at an interesting time in music. Like, hip hop was just starting to really come back. Like, independent artists were starting to pop up, and music was in a dynamic change where it was more immediate because the internet was getting, it was giving more outlets and ways for these artists to have awareness. So to be a brand in the middle of that, like, that was amazing. I got to go to every Grammy weekend, every type of special event that involved music we were a part of. We did some sort of campaign. So, and it just helped me learn structure. I think that is really what makes me a good music manager, because I've managed brands and businesses and multiple people, and the evolution of a product from inception into then releasing it to the public. It's the same formula for a person, only they're humans, so they breathe and walk. Right. They don't sit on the shelf,
So, and how was it like working with like the Kanyes and the Eminems? Like, was you like very nervous, or was you like very like excited? Like, how was you at the time?
I think probably at first not so much nervous, but just you're more reserved because you don't know what form of a person you're getting when it comes to a celebrity, because at the end of the day they're all entertainers, right? So we see something certain, like everyone has something that they bring to the table that they're known for, that they have to deliver to their fan base on a daily. So you don't really know who that real person is. So it's really just being able to sit back and observe and kind of learn who that human is to know how to navigate and work with them.
Okay, and fast forward to, you have your own brand, MMKpr, and like you said, like you became like a music manager. Can you go a little bit in depth of like the life of a music manager? Because a lot of people don't understand that it's very hard to like manage an artist. You got to travel a lot and this and that. You got to deal with a lot of paperwork. So can you go more in depth of the life of a music manager?
Yeah, well, you're right. Like, there's a lot. You never, like, your day is never the same. Yesterday I was literally sitting in bed with Youngsta, like, not intimately, but like laying in bed because he's sick right now. He's extremely sick, and we just finished his album, so we have to get the track listing done. So like yesterday I'm in his bedroom, because he's sick, and I just have to come to him to get the work done. So I just sit there and go through music so we could track list. And then 2 days before that we were filming with Nick Cannon and MTV, so I'm having to like coordinate with the production of, the broadcast network, and then Nick's manager, and, styling and timing, and, making sure Youngsta is has all his stuff together. So you really have to be super dynamic because you never know what you're dealing with, especially like I was saying about him being sick. Like, you're dealing with humans, so you really have to be conscious of them. And when they're not feeling well, or they're having a hard time, or they're going through something, or they're in a really great mood, and you really have to manage that as well, and know how to just handle a person's dynamic, because their career's in your hands, and you're brought on because they trust you. Right. And that's a big thing. You're getting, like, you have a personality that's putting their career in your hands and trusting that you're going to make all the right choices and decisions for them because they're so big they can't do that on their own. So it's definitely not for the thin-skinned at all, especially as a female. It's really hard for me to, like, even think of other female managers, and there's really not many that I even know. So that's definitely unique, being a female in this industry that's really male dominated. But it just runs the gamut everywhere. From in November, we weren't even really here. Him and I and the rest of the team were in Amsterdam for a week and a half to record, and then we went to Dubai for a week and a half to record. Sometimes you're gone, like I was gone the whole month of November. I literally got home the night before Thanksgiving. So, like, by the time after all of that travel, like, I'm home now. I'm not flying to go see family or anything because we only have 2 days off. So, you're making sacrifices too. You're making personal sacrifices to your own life and your own schedule because it's not a 9 to 5. You don't clock in and clock out.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like everyone I had on the show so far, that's like in the management, atmosphere, or like even artists themselves, like they always tell me like it's very hard, like it's fun but hard because you move around so much and you don't get that time to sleep. So for you being the person that's behind the scenes, that's like helping, build the brand for like for all your artists and stuff like that, like I know like you hardly get sleep like that.
Oh yeah, no, and neither do they. Like he's out in Los Angeles now, and we just finished a 15-day studio run, and so essentially the label put him in studio for 15 days straight, and we went every day from 6 at night until the following day at 6 in the morning, and we were all there every single day. So like that's taxing. You're in a studio from 6 in the evening until 6 a.m. the morning after, and then you get home and it's like your body has to adjust to kind of sleep, but you can't really sleep that much because there's still business that you got to take care of during the day, but you got to get some sort of rest because you got to also still be able to go into the studio and get things done in the evening. So sometimes it's like, like I didn't see anyone for like 15 days straight. Like you're just as locked in as the talent is. Right.
So do you A&R his music as well?
No, he has an A&R at Epic. Epic is the label he's signed to. So Zoe Young, who's over at Epic, she's his A&R. So she's the one who basically, she'll set up the sessions. She brings through different producers. She brings through different artists, to review music and see if there's anything where there's synergy to do collabs for potential songs that are going to go on the album. And so that's what she does. That's
what's up, man. Like earlier, you was talking about how like it's not enough women, especially in your career. Yeah. Well, in a lot of industries, because it's a lot. It's you starting to see a little bit more women, coming in, different industries and stuff like that. Do you have like a message for like I guess like 18 or 19-year-old that's in college that's going for the same path as you? Like, do you have any advice or anything for them?
Yeah. Well, I think first and foremost, the most important thing is really once you know what your passion is you need to surround yourself with those people. So I tell people a lot of the times that they're like, well, but I'm not in those rooms, so how do I get to those rooms? The only way to get to those rooms and be in those rooms is to start to learn who those people are and surround yourself with them in a social element. You know what I mean? So find those people, follow them on Twitter and Instagram, tap in with them, see how they move, because that's how you want to move. So it's a way to be able to put yourself around mentors, because we're so engrossed in social media as it is. So it's like, just have that